Okay, there you have it. You all heard it. Verification is finished. Counting has begun. Selection 2019. Aylesbury and Buckingham count. So at the back of the room, if I get rid of the verification finished and get rid of the election 2009 banner, 2019 banner. At the top, you see the people walking right at the top, walking through the door. In there is the Buckingham count, but the Aylesbury constituency, which you're looking at here, you can see all the people counting, putting it into piles in front of the candidate or party in this case. Sorry, I was just looking at the bottom right hand corner. So that's all going on. I'm going to take a little break. Any questions, please let me know. I do have the people here. Jules on the previous stream did ask a question. I did speak to somebody from the AVDC. They did said about about voting. Postal votes are a little bit late. They need to be in advance, but something could have got sorted. Those are questions you may have. Do let us know. We'll do our best. So the counting has begun. It's always a bit quiet. There we go, the sound of all the people counting.
Where are you from?
BBC.
Oh.
Yeah, just the local stuff. Just the local stuff.
Are you freelancing?
No, not that.
No, I'm broadcasting. Yeah, I'm broadcasting. Yeah, on Facebook, yeah. No, I'm covering the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, something that can do it,
Well, I can see if I can help a bit because I'll attach to that when it's material down there or whatever. Usually don't come to it, I'll take the back. So it doesn't work. On Monday. No. I was just going to say that we're shortly going to announce the turnout in announcing afterwards. Before then get the school and that's right. say we'll just do that. We're just going to go for that. We're just going to hold up until the run downstairs. We're still waiting on the numbers for Buckingham. Oh, that's what you'd expect. Have you got the numbers for Buckingham? Yeah. So, total electorate. Okay.
What did I tell you? 76%.
Oh, sorry,
Well,
she was spot on.
Okay.
Freezing and miserable. Just got that more of
Let's start counting. There you go, just to cheer you up.
Well, I hope you're enjoying the feed. Now, while we was on our break, we hope you're enjoying the count, or watching them do the count. Now, there's a couple of little things I want to update, just quickly. So the Aylesbury validation check. So votes cast 60,855. Total electorate was 86,665. Turnout was 70.22%. Now I don't know if that was up on last election. I'll have to look up those figures for you. But also what was announced was the verification has been finished for the Buckingham count. So the total electorate was 83,146. Votes cast was 63,699. And the turnout was 76.61%. Now I'm quickly going to go over to a gentleman I was speaking to earlier. He's watching some TV, but I just wanted to grab the guy from Buckingham. If I could just quickly chat to you. He's looking at me. So he's watching the BBC forecast Conservative majority and Corbyn obviously somewhere. Anyway, Buckingham results. 76.61% turnout. Because exactly what you're saying, the buzz was all there because you hadn't had a chance to vote. And that, they have. So let's see what the result will be.
Be interesting.
I think it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
And Aylesbury was 70.22%.
It's up there. Good turnout.
I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's virtually 3/4 of the area, isn't it?
Yep. That's very good turnout.
And when you look at 60,855 people turned up, actually put the piece of paper in that box, I think it's quite amazing.
There we go.
We'll chat about later. Okay, I'm going to try and speak to some of the candidates in the area. I've got to be careful with my wireless comms. I'm having a bit of an issue whenever I sit down or do anything. So I will I will keep the stream going so you can see the counts. I mean, they're very busy working away there, putting them into the areas. I'd like to get some of the candidates into our studio that the AVDC have sorted for us. I won't have a snack, even though I really should. Keep the sugar levels up, as they say. So, actually, I've got the 2017 figures, haven't I, from all the information I provided to you before. So what I will do is I'll make a note of them. I'll do a few calculations, do a few changes in a few other places, let you carry on watching if you want to. Hopefully you will. Don't forget to share, to like, go on our YouTube channel, subscribe as well. What we'll do, any questions, please comment. I'm hoping you are liking this idea. Do let us know in the comments whether you think it's just a waste of time, it's quite interesting, or that you think it's quite a good idea, because you can keep an eye on it, especially if you're an insomniac, or you're just interested in the election and you want to see the process as it goes. But we'll get back shortly. I'll calculate all my scores. Again, short notice. I have the staff to run around and do a lot of work for me. So I'm going to try to cover everything myself. But FBL does try to give the best it can. And we do hope you're enjoying it.
Aylesbury's going to be obviously, because they've got 3,000 left places now for Aylesbury, so and they started the tour, so there'll be a gap between Aylesbury and fortunately enough, basically, Green Party contest. Cole's here, Lynn's here, Stephen's here. I haven't seen
No, I saw the map, but
So you'll be on live stream because I posted one
know, literally got me on that day. In a way, because I know both of them use couples, they don't know you. And who did you post that? I've seen it all done.
So, right, here we go.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we go. We can talk to Liz Hine from Labour. It's a bit echoey. That microphone picks everything up, so I do apologise to the people who may be watching. So, big thing, how was it out there in the street? I mean, we've just been talking 6 weeks.
Yep. 6 weeks every day.
6 weeks every day?
Every single day.
For 6 weeks?
For 6 weeks.
How many hours?
Easy day, maybe 4 hours. So, 2 hours preparing myself, doing all the emails, trying to answer questions from constituents. Yeah. Then 2 hours out on the streets, knocking on doors. That would be an easy day.
Was there any interesting questions you've got regarding Labour, regarding Remain, that really resonate in your head, that really comes like, because obviously all that time out there for 6 weeks, is there anything, or was there a common question that
talking to people on the doorstep, actually, there were people that I've spoken to who just feel hopeless after years of being represented by this government, and they've got pupils with special educational needs, or they've had to fight for treatment on the NHS, or they've noticed the homelessness around Aylesbury. So it was those sorts of issues that people were actually really worried about and talking about on the doorstep quite a lot. An appetite to be represented by a woman. So there were quite a lot of women I spoke to that were really quite excited that they could actually finally vote for a woman, which was obviously quite nice for me.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, I mean there is a real issue of representation for a lot of people, that they don't see themselves being represented at all, and people like them don't become MPs. So to be able to see someone that they know personally, because I run a business in town and they know me personally, and I'm a bit more like them because I'm not a grey man in a suit, then actually that was quite exciting for a lot of people, and there were a lot of people that I met who were actually voting for the first time and going to go out and vote.
How old were they?
All ages, actually.
Okay, so you were hearing this from females, or was it males as well, or mainly females?
Mainly females,
Okay.
because obviously women in politics are underrepresented,
Yeah.
and it is a problem, and it's not just about getting... the excuse for having mostly men in Parliament is, oh well, we need to select the best candidates, which kind of presumes that women aren't as capable.
Is
and
that from
aren't
all
as
parties then, are you saying that's from? Or is it just from one particular party?
If you look at the candidates standing for the Labour Party, 53% were women. So the Labour Party in its representation, we have now reached the point where we are picking on merit so that women are being actually represented, because women are just as capable as men
Agreed.
of dealing with politics, so we should see just as many women being selected as candidates. I think the Tory party is still languishing behind at about 30%.
Okay. Greens, how are they doing?
Greens are about the same, I think. It's only the Labour Party that's now achieved equal representation for women. And that's thanks to a lot of brilliant work being done that, if you're not in the party, you won't see. So people like Fabian Women's Network, Labour Women's Network, with a lot of support behind me from people inside the party, which I'll always be grateful for, because whatever happens tonight, and we're still waiting for the result now.
Did you look at did you take down the votes and stuff? Did you hear the turnout?
Turnout was just over 70%, which is obviously fantastic.
That's amazing, isn't it?
70.22% of people went out to vote in this election. So, whatever happens tonight, I think within Aylesbury we have got an appetite for engaging in democracy. And whatever happens, the democratic process still has to go on. So, those people who are finding themselves unable to access the treatments they need or the benefits they need, who are going through horrific, punitive PIP assessments, those people still need to be represented against what this government's been doing to them. So, that's part of democracy. So whoever gets to go and sit in the green benches in Parliament will still be here as the Labour Party to represent those people, because they're being cast aside, they're being downtrodden, with seeing a rise of street homelessness in Aylesbury, and for every street homeless person you see, there are many more people in insecure accommodation or living in hostels or sofa surfing. There's a lot of women who are homeless and are reliant on
and young people as well, isn't it?
And young people as well.
Yeah.
Well, our young people are just being priced out of housing. They can't afford to rent, they can't afford to buy, so they're having to stay at home and rely on mum and dad, and that's nowhere to start your life. To go through university, come out of university with £50,000 worth of debt, get a job, a graduate job, and still not be able to afford your own house. Go back, just a couple of decades, and that would be unheard of. But that's the reality of what people are living now.
I see all that. To me, for instance, paying for education, I think it's wrong. I don't think, especially with the amount of jobs out there, to me, there isn't that many, technically, for the people involved in the country. And allowing people to go to universities improves the whole entire country. It allows us to do better. So that's definitely an interesting part of what Labour was going to get rid of things, wasn't they, I believe?
Yeah, well, the point is, we know we need nurses. We have a shortage of nurses in the NHS. Those people need university education.
But don't we take nurses from other countries?
We've got a shortage of nurses. We need more nurses.
Yes, but
we've got people in this country who want to be nurses, but can't afford to do the education.
Okay.
Why have we taken away the nurses' bursary? it's a
That's a good
long
point. Yep.
process to become a nurse and to do a job that's vital, that we all need. We all need more nurses, so why aren't we supporting those young people that want to do that job? Because it's a thankless job on not an amazing amount of pay, which, you know, under this government has been cut by 5%
I've worked in the NHS, I know what the
There
pay's
we
like.
go.
I've
So
worked in
the pay's
lots of loads of
terrible,
doctors, nurses, and
but we're saying, well, hang on a minute, we really need you, but you're going to have to put yourself in debt to do a not really very well paid job that we vitally need you to do. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
agree. But that goes for the police force, fire
Yeah,
brigade,
it does. Yeah. And
people
again,
in the armed
let's-
forces.
Let's pay for their education
But then
because
that
we
means-
need them.
But that means taxes have to go up.
Okay, the Labour Party tax plan said if you're in the top 5%, yeah, you're going to need to pay a little bit more. Now, I'm a small business owner. Now,
So am I.
right, then, you know, we know that we've got large, you know, not just these multinational corporations that we're allowing to come here
We're
and
talking about Google and
Google and all of those sorts of people are coming to this country making massive amounts of profit but not paying their fair share of tax. I'm paying more tax than they are. How is that fair? Let's start making sure that those tax loopholes are closed. Let's get all of that money back from Cayman Islands where the magic money tree's growing, and let's get the people that we need, like firefighters, policemen. You know, let's give soldiers a 5% pay rise because they've suffered as well.
do a really good job as well. So.
Exactly. All of these public sector workers are doing fantastic jobs and we're not paying them enough.
I see what I found interesting about working for the NHS was when I first joined, I was told we had our pensions were salary based. What was the pension scheme back then? Now it's all you have to pay in. It's private. It's
Yeah.
I think it's sad because they don't get paid enough money. Personally, I worked with a lot of people. Fine, salary pension, that's what I was thinking of, by the way. But they get paid a lot of money, and that's kind of like something that they get at the end of their service, and they do get to have a nice retirement from it. Then that's now gone private, as in they have to pay X amount, and they might, it's open to the stock market, their pension. So I do find that a strange thing. I've not really seen much in anybody saying anything about it, but to be fair, over the last couple of years I've put my head in the sand and I've been trying to build this business, which also has its effects on things that happen obviously in taxes and stuff like that. So Labour's point of view and where you stand with Labour, how are you going to do, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it if you win? What are you going to do in this area? Looking at all the things that Labour stand for,
Yeah.
what's your main thing you're looking at? Especially, you've got the EU referendum. That's the first thing. So are you going to stand for, obviously, another referendum?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the Labour Party policy.
You're going
like-
to follow the line. That's exactly what
Well,
you do.
that's
You
what
want to
we-
remain, and that's what
Well, I'm really worried that people now brand themselves as leavers or remainers,
Yeah.
somehow like they're following a football team. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, guys. Can we just look at the evidence? Because we can't have a ruinous Tory version of leaving, which trashes workers' rights, trashes environmental protections, and opens us up to lowering food standards as we, buying chlorinated chickens from America. That's not what anyone wanted. We don't want to eat chlorinated chicken. So, there are lots of different versions of leaving the EU. You don't have to just grab this one because that's what you've been offered, because we've seen years of failed negotiations on behalf of the Tory party. We had a Tory Brexit secretary who didn't understand the importance of the English Channel.
Okay.
This is not this is not fine negotiations. This is basic facts about how this country works and where we get our goods from. So, we have the referendum, and then all of a sudden we're being told, well, hang on a minute, we might have a shortage of insulin. Yeah, this is not a nice
Don't you think that was
luxury.
scaremongering?
No, I don't, because I've talked to...
I personally think it does.
No, I was... last week I was at the local meeting of Diabetes UK, and they are really scared that they are going to run short of insulin because it's all coming from Europe.
So we couldn't get through the border.
That it won't get through the border, that we haven't got enough, that we have... that they are going to run short of insulin. And instead of, us taking the time to investigate that, it's like you said, oh, well, that's just scaremongering. Well, what if it's not?
But
If it's not?
But how many years have we been obviously dealing with the referendum? We know that we were leaving. It's been agreed, as in the vote's gone through. And then all of a sudden it's...
But it's not all of a sudden. I've been talking about this for years.
No.
This is not all of a sudden.
Insulin running out. So as soon as the vote had come in and it had been, we're leaving, wasn't provisions put into place then?
Well, we weren't in government, no.
No, but
it wasn't. They wouldn't publish their own impact assessments. What does that tell you? David Lidington was nearly found in contempt of Parliament because he wouldn't publish the papers on the legal advice.
Okay.
And instead of just David Lidington being found in contempt of Parliament, the entire government was held in contempt of Parliament because they wouldn't publish the advice that they'd received. This is a government that will not stand up to scrutiny.
Okay.
This is not fear-mongering. They will not stand up to scrutiny. They won't do interviews on the BBC. We saw
Who wouldn't? Like Boris, when you're talking David?
Johnson wouldn't go on be interviewed by Andrew Neil. He wouldn't go and talk about climate change, which has is threatening our planet. He hides in a fridge rather than answer a question. And this man is supposed to be our Prime Minister. They need to stand up to scrutiny. So that when someone says, hang on a minute, I'm worried about my drugs, my life-saving drugs coming across from Europe, they're not just dismissed as scaremongers. That actually we scrutinise that, we look at that, we publish the advice, and then if they are scaremongering, okay, we can see that. But we need a government to be held to scrutiny, and that's not what we've seen.
What else?
Well, where to get started?
Well, that's why you're here. That's what you said. And by the way, thank you for being the first one up.
I was asked at Hastings if you became our MP, what would be the first thing on your list? And I think first on my hit list would be universal credit. We've got a benefit system which everyone involved in it said this will not work. This will lead to impoverishment. This will lead to a rise in homelessness.
Especially with the 5 weeks.
With that weight, we've got people, and if you haven't ever lived from one paycheck to the next, you don't understand what it's like to live like that and knowing that you can't save, because even though you're working a job and you're doing the best that you can in that job, your housing costs are sky high. You've got kids to feed, you've got the gas bill that you're worried about paying. So no, you can't build up that cushion and that savings, so that if you are made redundant, and I've been made redundant twice in my career, and that's...
I've been made redundant?
Exactly. There's lots of people who are made redundant, and it's no fault of...
I think it's a normality now.
It is.
I think if you have not been made redundant, you're pretty lucky.
Exactly. So, we've got people losing their jobs. Absolutely nothing that they've done. It's just a fact of life that people now lose their jobs and have to go and find a new one, and they're having to be made wait too long for their money, and fight for it to get it, and they're losing, they're not keeping up with the rent because they've had to live from paycheck to paycheck, and they're being made homeless, which then increase the costs on society. And we're seeing...
Because that adds to crime, you're saying? Because obviously somebody's
No,
homeless?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is actually then, instead of keeping someone in a house and their family in a house and keeping those people going and tiding them over until that person can get a new job, they're now in crisis. And dealing with people in crisis and helping those kids that are now in that crisis situation, you've got to get all sorts of professionals involved, and that's difficult. And if it's difficult, it means it's expensive. So actually, when it's a horrible situation for everyone involved, and doesn't achieve what it set out to do. It doesn't help people stay in work. It doesn't help them tide them over while they find a new job and give them that security that they need in order to spend the time filling out the job application forms and the CVs, because you don't walk out of one job one day and into another one the next week all the time. It just doesn't happen. So what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Why are we punishing these people and saying, oh no, we're going to withhold your money? It is just a punishment for them, which means that we are seeing more expensive problems down the line, instead of stabilising the situation for families involved in that, and then making sure that they can get back into a new job.
I think an interesting one of the universal credit, from what I come off of it, is there's a 5-week gap, isn't there? That's before I didn't have it. I think if you're low amounts of money and you're then told you've got nothing back, where do you get your money from? Because you need to survive. So I think in one way what they're doing there is it's expanding on. They're going to go to higher interest loan ideas.
Being poor is expensive.
Yes.
Yeah,
totally
because
agree with
if
that.
you
Yes.
haven't got a lot of money, then you can't buy in bulk. You can't. Yeah, it's
Of course
like
you make discounts if
shoes.
you buy in bulk, don't you?
Yeah, if you haven't got a lot of money, well, you have to buy cheap shoes
Yeah.
that don't last. So in a year, you actually end up buying more shoes because the ones that you've got don't last.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got money, you can splurge it on a really good pair of shoes. So it's ridiculous.
And it's not just that, you can probably buy multiple shoes.
There we go.
So you have an excess.
yeah,
Okay, so universal credit. So if you got elected, that's something you'll
yeah.
obviously try and stop.
Yeah.
What else would you do?
We need to make sure that disabled people can have an independent life. We need to look at independent living for them. I am a real great believer in the social model of disability that says a person is disabled not for who they are, but for the obstacles that we put in their way. If all of our buildings in our town centres had plenty of wheelchair access, then someone in a wheelchair can move around freely.
Yeah.
So what's disabling is not a person. It's the situation that we put them in, the society that we put them in.
I understand. That's where you're coming from that.
Yeah. So that's known as the social
Just
model.
because they've got a disability doesn't mean they can't do the job. But
Well-
they can't do the job if they can't get to that job.
And
get
they
around
can't
it.
do that job if their employer doesn't make the adjustments that they need.
But it won't be their employer because they won't employ them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, yeah, okay, I understand. What else? There's one more. I might ask as the other candidates. This is quite good. I'm liking this. I really
Oh,
am.
my hit list. Okay.
Hopefully it's not me and live broadcasting. There you go.
Oh, no.
One more. Go on.
One more. 25% of kids in Buckinghamshire live in poverty. What are we doing that's a statistic that is just, it's known now.
Kids in
Why?
poverty, never a good thing. Anybody in poverty is never a good
Yeah.
thing.
So in Aylesbury, it's 25% of those, and you can't blame kids for their adult, their parents' choices, the choices of the adults around them. That's ridiculous. These are kids that are being made to suffer because we've set up a society in which people are being allowed to work in jobs that don't pay the rent. Now, it's not their fault, and now if you bring up a child in poverty and then don't fund the schools properly and don't allow the schools to support them properly, then don't allow those children to access further education and higher education to help them into, you've then got this horrible little vicious cycle. And instead of, again, saying, okay, well, we'll support you, we'll make sure that you have got safe housing, that you're not going to school hungry, that you're not living out of the food bank during summer holidays because you're not getting your free school meal anymore, that your schools are properly funded so that you can go to school and get your decent education and not have to worry.
It'd be nice not to have to worry.
Well, it's possible. We are one of the richest countries in the world. Why is that? Why when you start talking about that do people dismiss that as some sort of pipe dream that a kid growing up in Aylesbury could have the future that they deserve, that they work for, and not be disadvantaged just because of the situation that they've been born in? That's not a pipe dream. That's
not.
We could have that. We just need to choose that that's what we want.
As a nation.
As a nation.
Totally agree.
There we go.
There's always this spectrum of obviously the financial. I know how the other half live. That's actually 2-5%. Actually have the most, and the rest of it's distributed down very badly. Poverty should not be in any country, anywhere in the world, to be fair. The whole world earns enough money. Money's, in one respect...
Well, what we're seeing under austerity is the poor staying where they are and the rich getting richer and richer and richer and richer and richer. And this isn't just my opinion, this is official statistics. We are living in an age where inequality is growing. Nobody needs to be a billionaire and hoard all of that wealth.
Unless you're the billionaire.
Nobody needs to be a billionaire.
Let's say obviously
you cannot physically spend that much money in one lifetime. Why are we seeing the people at the top getting richer and richer and richer while we are seeing a rise in homelessness?
And people not being able to afford their housing where they live.
And all of those problems.
I understand that. So, thank you for your reading, Barry. Very interesting. Now, if I'd have spoke to you yesterday, you should have gave us the time. That's what I'm going to say. It would have been interesting because that sort of outlook that people could see. I can see you're passionate about it. I'm going to say impartial, as I always try my best. Will you stand again if you don't get it this election?
If I am not elected tonight, then there are still people in Aylesbury who need representation.
Yeah.
I will still be here to represent them and be passionate about them and fight for them because they deserve that. A democracy is not finished once the ballot boxes have been put back in the cupboard. Democracy is power to the people. It goes on.
So I said, what would you do if you got it? Would you continue on if you didn't? If we look at the Aylesbury figures that I got from democracydashboard.com, it seems every election person changes. So that's what I'm saying. Would you, let's say 4 years time, if you're still in Aylesbury, that is, of course. How long have you lived in Aylesbury?
Coming up to 3 years now.
3 years. Where did you live before?
I was in Suffolk for about a year, and before that I was in Liverpool.
Okay.
Well, I was in Liverpool for quite a long time, and was involved with politics up in Liverpool. You think that I'm passionate, you've seen nothing.
I've got good mates in Liverpool. He actually moved from Aylesbury back to Liverpool. Miss him, he's good.
Good guy. He also worked for the police force. Actually, worked as PSO. What made you come to Aylesbury?
And to take on the business. We saw a business that, you know, me and my partner thought that we could, you know, do well in, that we'd be happy in. And, you know, the Millwrights Arms is now, according to the Bucks Herald, the best pub in Aylesbury.
Well done, congratulations.
There you go. So, you know, they've achieved that, got a good business, so now on with politics. And, you know, it's true what I've said in other interviews. As a pub landlady, I do hear, you know, people tell me about what's going on in their lives all the time, and I am sick to death of really good people having their pay, you know, stagnating while their housing goes up, listening to people who are having problems accessing healthcare, who are having problems accessing the social support that they need. Sick to death of it. These people deserve a voice, and they're not getting one at the moment.
Okay, well, do you know, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hope you enjoy the live stream. I mean, hopefully people are right questions. Maybe you can answer them if you do look on Facebook.
Yeah.
Look on FBR Podcast. Once again, thank you very much.
Alright,
Good
thank
luck.
you. Alright.
How's the voting down there?
I don't know.
Have you had your team ticket off?
Yeah, we have, so I need to get back to them now.
I know you do. I know I've kept you a long time, and thank you for
Yeah.
your time. Much
Alright
appreciated.
then. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Once again.
Right.
Liz, hi.
Thank you.
So there we have it. Liz Hind. Finally got her on for an interview. Hopefully she'll enjoy the rest of the night, or rest of the morning actually. 3:26. Let's go and look see how those counters. Ooh, seems busy out there. It was an interesting conversation. So let's have a look how we're doing. So table 3 over there, doing quite well. That seems quite stocked up. To be honest, I think the counting is not nearly done, but it's doing quite well. They're actually on it. It's 3:26, running out of time. So if you enjoyed that little chat with Liz, hopefully you can write a comment, let us know what you were thinking. That was interesting. Conversation with Liz. Thank you for your time.
Whereas you're on that down one way or the other. I can lower this down to you if you want. On one that goes. Okay. I'll go get the thing and I'll stay there.
I've just been notified that we could be having a declaration soon, in about half an hour. Which is interesting. So looking down, a lot of the counting has finished, and they're going to be dealing with the votes that have been marked, or can't be exactly defined as this is a vote. So once they've clarified them, it will then be declaration time.
Thank you.
Adjudication for table 9, please. Adjudication points.
Let's explain. She's asked for, what was it? Adjudication? So what they're doing, they're going to each table, or well, they will be, or whatever table she says. That's true. And once that's all decided, then that's it. It's time for the vote to be declared.
They'll let the characters go, and I think we'll then be invited down for the announcement.
Oh, okay. So everything is getting ready. They're just dealing with the spoils. Currently just looking at the results across the country. Mainly we're looking at Conservative and Labour. 183 Conservative, 183 Conservative, 124 Labour. We're soon going to find out what Aylesbury has got to offer. Buckingham, if you're looking for the Buckingham result, that's probably about another hour. So So it's a high turnout in Buckingham, which also means it's going to take longer to count. So what we will try and do is get to we'll probably stop the stream, I'll move all my equipment down to the Oculus room, ready for the result for Buckingham. So if you're watching, obviously you will be because you'll be listening to me talking, you can see the candidates, top left hand corner, standing around, waiting for the result. So it looks like the votes have been kind of counted. They're just going through the spoils, where losing sound, sorry. Where all the spoils are agreed with all the representatives of the parties and then counted. So decoration, not far away. They're still going through the spools. All the candidates are lining up. So at the moment, from what I'm gathering from my sources, the whole of the country of course, which I'm sure you have that information, is the Conservatives on 211 seats, Labour on 134, Scottish Nationalists on 32, Liberal Democrats 7, the leader of the Democrats lost her seat. Democratic Union 5, Sinn Féin 5, Plaid Cymru 4, Green Party doesn't seem to have any seats at the moment. Looks like 2 independents have got in as well. But mainly Conservative 211 and Labour 134, which will mean leaving the EU. It's just got that a little bit closer. all the councillors seem to have finished. Quick question. Here we go. So at this point, they're just going through the spoils, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So does that mean everything's been verified with the account, and the spoils are literally just little bits left over?
Oh, Aylesbury, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next thing is that they will announce the votes for each party, and that's it.
Yeah, it's all done. I just want to say it can't be a recount now.
There won't be a recount. I mean, that's what they're going to verify to make sure that nobody's asking for a recount.
Oh, okay. All right. So there is a possibility we could have a recount.
In theory, yeah.
Shouldn't have said that. I'm so sorry. Shouldn't have said that. The whole media is going to hate me now. Don't go and tell the rest of them, please. Well,
Possibly, if when you read out the results they're very close, I suppose they could then ask for a recount. It'll be after the.
after the declaration.
Just think about it logically, because they won't know what the counts are. So if they read it out and there's only like 500 between them.
But wouldn't they discuss that, don't they? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't
None of the parties know what the results are until they read it.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Oh, that's a good. Well, if we do have anything interesting, we're live streaming it, and everybody can not go to bed and probably hate me. Sorry, people. So there you have it. So what we got is a bit of me upsetting the whole entire media lot, because there's a thing on a craps table, you don't say the number 7. And I think one of the things in the media business is you don't say recount. Not when you've been awake for like 24 hours. Well, I've enjoyed this. It's been a new aspect on an election. Hopefully you have. You'll understand how the process works. It's not just a 5-minute drive the boxes, ballot boxes that is, all the way down the road, pop it into the bins, throw it onto the table, and they just count. There's verifying, checking papers, checking spoils, collaborating with the information from the poll station to what's counted. That needs to be verified with other people, and then finally, after all that counting, checking the spoils, validating everything, you then read out the results, and they can still ask, if it's close, for a recount. And also be hated by all the media people around you. Okay, so next election we do, we'll have a group of us for definite. I think it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I must say it doesn't feel like it to me. 4 o'clock, I've still got another 2 hours, I think, before I would collapse on the floor. An interesting thing here is we're allowed to move the cameras. So in 2017, we had David Linton on 55% of the Conservative Party and Mark Bateman 30% of Labour.
One, two, three.
Okay, well I think we're ready for the declaration. So there's Paul. He's been helping us out. I don't know who he's speaking with, but obviously one of the candidates down there.
One, two, 1, 2. 1. Are you getting the sound? Is it coming through?
So at 4 o'clock, or 4 at 8. Getting ready for the declaration. None of the counters have been left to go home. Whether they want us to stay. An interesting question to ask them. Now what we are going to do is after the declaration. We're going to close the feed down, and we're going to start another one up for Buckingham. So as soon as Buckingham's ready, we'll obviously live stream that. Now we're not allowed anywhere near the officer's room while the counting is going on, but we will live stream that. Everybody seems to be gathering. Getting ready for the result. I hope you enjoyed watching the live stream.
I'm just going to share the provisional results with the candidates and agents, but we won't be many seconds. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, I think I have your attention. Thank you for your patience. Before I announce the results of the Aylesbury Constituency election, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my team for their efforts over recent weeks and all the staff here tonight who have helped count the votes. Your help is very much appreciated. As is customary on these occasions, I have asked the candidates to join me here on the stage, and once I have declared the result, each of them will be invited to say a few words, if they wish, starting with a successfully elected individual. And so to the formal announcement of the results for the election of a Member of Parliament for the Aylesbury Constituency held on 12th of December 2019. I, Theresa Lane, being the acting returning officer at the aforementioned election, do hereby give notice that the number of votes recorded for each candidate is as follows. Butler Robert, commonly known as Robert Butler, the Conservative Party candidate, 32,737 votes. Hind Elizabeth Catherine, commonly known as Liz Hind, Labour Party candidate, 15,364 votes. Lambert Stephen Michael, Liberal Democrats, 10,081 votes. Simpson Coral Rose Kathleen, the Green Party, 2,394 votes. I do hereby declare that Rob Butler is duly elected to serve as Member of Parliament for the Aylesbury constituency. Just one more moment, if I may. So the number of ballot papers rejected was as follows: wanted official mark, 0. Voting for more candidates than voter was entitled to, 56. Writing or mark by which voter could be identified, 0. Being unmarked or wholly void for uncertainty, 223, which gave a total of 279 ballot papers that were rejected. And just to confirm, the turnout was 70.22%. So thank you, and I would now like to ask Rob Butler to say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you all very much indeed. I'm absolutely honoured to have been elected to serve the constituency of Aylesbury. This is the town where I was born, and so it is a very special privilege today to become its MP. Now, nobody wanted an election in December, but today tens of thousands of people here in this constituency have braved the winds and the relentless rain to exercise their democratic right and cast their vote, and for that we should always be grateful. My job now is to represent every one of you in this constituency, however you voted and wherever you live, whether it's in the town or in one of the many villages and hamlets that often feel forgotten. I will do my best to ensure that you all feel that your voices are heard at Westminster in the months and years to come. You have entrusted me with a duty that I will strive to fulfil with values of responsibility, accountability and integrity. I have many thank yous to make: the acting returning officer, the presiding officers and poll clerks at all the polling stations around the constituency, and all of you counting here tonight through the night. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you to the police, to my agent at Aylesbury Constituency Association, Sarah Sproat. It is no exaggeration to say that I could not possibly have done this without you. To our association chairman, Stephen Broadbent, and all the officers, members and helpers who've campaigned long and hard, whatever the weather. My fellow candidates, we obviously disagree on policy, but I have great respect for Liz, for Stephen and for Coral, not least for standing. It is not always the easiest thing to do, to stand in an election, but it's such a vital part of our democracy. I'd like to thank my partner, Hugo, my family, my friends for their unstinting support. And I'd like to express my gratitude to my predecessor, Sir David Lidington, who's been a great source of advice and encouragement. David was an MP here for 27 years, and I pay tribute to him for his tireless service to both the constituency and the country over almost 3 decades. He will be an incredibly hard act to follow. The results across the country tonight mean we can now make real progress. We can get Brexit done, we can pass the withdrawal bill and leave the EU by the end of January. We can then move on to focus on what really matters, what people have been telling me on the doorstep is really important to them: the NHS, policing and education, as well as the most important local issues. Standing up against HS2 and ensuring that housing development is matched by the right infrastructure and balanced with the protection of our countryside. We now have a unique opportunity to unleash Aylesbury's potential for this and future generations. So to close, I make this simple promise to everybody in the Aylesbury constituency: you are my #1 priority, and I will work relentlessly for you here and at Westminster. Thank you.
And thank you very much to the acting returning officer and all the staff here tonight. Thank you for working so hard. Thank you, of course, to all the staff in polling stations and police. Lots of more thank yous to do to my agent Michelle for being fantastic, and for also a lot of support that I've had standing as a woman in this constituency from Fair Women's Network and from the Labour Women's Network. It's really not easy being a woman in politics, so I am very proud to stand as a woman. We've heard lots of promises during this election campaign. Just because the ballot boxes are now going back in the cupboard, that does not mean to say that democracy is over, that the people of Aylesbury don't deserve somebody else standing for them and holding our MP to account. Before I came here tonight, I spoke to one of my customers who is in cancer care. She is failing to get the benefits that she deserves. She is scared that her life-saving drugs are not going to be provided. These people still deserve someone that is going to stand up and make sure that all of these promises that we've heard about the NHS come true. I've also got deputy head teachers coming to me telling me about how their SEN pupils aren't being supported because there aren't enough ed sites going around. Those people still deserve someone that's there watching what's going on, holding it to account. So democracy goes on. Democracy is not something that happens on a wet night in December. Democracy is a process. And we will still be here to stand up for people like those, to hold those in power to account, to make sure that they actually do carry out their promises. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very, very much for taking part in today. But before I say anything else, something that's got me into trouble before is not saying thank you to my agent first and foremost. This is my fourth general election, third one in 4 years. And each time I've got to say thank you to Mike. So Mike, thank you very much for being there and for being a really damn good mate. Thank you very much. Thank you also to the ABDC elections team, Joe and Chris, everybody behind the team that made all of this work. It's right, democracy isn't just one thing that happens on a wet day in December, it is something that happens all year round. And that elections team, the Democratic Services team, worked really hard for this constituency and local authority. I'd like to thank the Liberal Democrat campaign team and activists right the way across the constituency. In 5 weeks they came together and really delivered a campaign that I'm proud of. To my amazing partner Miguel, thank you so much for your love and support through this, and to my dad over in the corner there, dropping everything and coming up here, I really appreciate that. Rob, congratulations. And as the leader of the Liberal Democrats here in Aylesbury, I look forward to welcoming you and Hugo into Aylesbury to move up here and make your lives here in and amongst our community. I'll offer the hand of friendship to you to show you the sights and some of the good places to eat and drink. It's really good. As you learn more about our community. So, it would be remiss of me not to talk about why it is we were here. Brexit is now likely to happen, and in my view, putting at risk our hard-fought human rights, the risk to economic prosperity, and a potential USA smash and grab on our NHS. I sincerely hope that all that Boris and the Conservatives have promised in their plan comes true, because hopes and the dreams and the fears of all of us who want to remain could end up being voiceless. After Corbyn's lack of leadership, that's what we've ended up with. Our fears for our loved ones now on a government list, like my own partner, terrify me. The uncertainty of the world that we face, even of our own borders, are a deep concern. Rob, you said, and you will, I hope, represent all of us, or fail all of us. The responsibility lays on your shoulders. It's the job of you and of your colleagues now to heal the nation. It needs to heal. Climate change and the climate crisis that we find ourselves in worries me greatly, as it did many of our residents on the doorstep. HS2 is now likely to happen, but I look forward to more action from you, Rob, than we had from your predecessor, and that you'll keep your promise to stop HS2 as our community is being ill-served by it. No doubt dissertations are going to be written about today's results and the crossroads we have now passed through as a nation. We all need to reflect on what, if anything, the electorate is saying to us. When Boris and Jeremy forced their parties into the extremes, and aided by the press and fake news and even fear, we should all be concerned. Now, I won't lie and say that I'm not disappointed in tonight's results, in the same way that I'm not scared about Brexit and an unchecked Conservative majority. But I am an optimist, and I believe in the residents I live with and work with and serve as a councillor. And tonight we will all leave here and face a new future, and as we take those hopes and those steps with us, I hope we can learn from the lessons of Brexit and tackle climate change and really heal our country. I'm coming to a close now, but something that drives me, one of the reasons why I put myself forward for election, one of the things that makes me stand up for our community, and it's written on the back of the Liberal Democrat membership cards, and quite clearly it says, the Liberal Democrats exist to build and safeguard a fair, free and open society in which we seek to balance the fundamental values of liberty, equality and community, and in which no one shall be enslaved by poverty, ignorance and conformity. That's why I stood for election. That's why I passionately believe in, and I'm proud to stand for election for Aylesbury, and I'm very willing to work with Rob and anyone to make better life for everybody in the Aylesbury constituency. Thank you. That's it, folks.
Thank you very much, everybody. Safe journeys home.
There you have it. So there we have it. We have a Conservative win, 32,737. Labour, 15,364. Liberal Democrats, 10,081. And the Greens, 2,394. So Rob Butler, Conservative leader in Aylesbury, takes the win, and we hope you enjoyed the stream. Well, I'll try and get an interview a little bit later. We're going to stop this stream and relocate our equipment and try and get nearly off to this room so we can be there ready for the declaration for Buckingham. So thank you for watching. Please write your notes. Well, any questions, any comments, don't forget to like and follow us if you're not interested in the Buckingham Declaration, obviously. But please, I'll try and upload all this to YouTube, so go to our FBL Broadcasting YouTube channel. Please subscribe, it does help us. Try and provide later in the future. We've got the local elections coming up next year. We're going to try to do what we can to bring that to you as well. So just before we leave, Conservatives 32,737, Liberal Democrats 15,364, Liberal Democrats 10,081, and the Greens 2,394. The Conservatives lead the Aylesbury seat. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you again.